For a filleting session here. Man, look at the size of that sucker. Alright, kia ora whānau. Got the dog here on the bench, ready to be filleted. It's been in the chili for the last 2 days. Nice and set now. Meat is nice and firm. As you can see how the tail's sticking up, everything's nice and solid in there. So basically we're going to chop under this wing, go way up the side, down the spine, cut into that, cut down here, and then out the bum. Woohoo! And for a filleting session here. Man, look at the size of that sucker. Alright, so I've made my insertion cuts down the side of the fish, just behind the pectoral fin and up along the spine. Just inserting the knife there, and once it's in, I cut deeper, just bit by bit. No rushing through this big fish. I want to get every little bit of meat possible, so taking my time here, making sure I don't waste any meat. Yeah, once those insertion cuts are in, you just gradually cut along deeper and deeper with each slice and let the blade do the work. Alright, so we have the first fillet off here, and as you can see, it is a beauty. Look at that beautiful firm white flesh. Got the other side to do now, so we flip it over and we get back to mahi. Now usually I do my filleting a little bit quicker than this, but because it's such a nice fish, large size model, I'm taking my sweet time here to make sure that I get every little bit of meat possible. So no rush, just filleting through that side of the fish. The second side's always a little bit harder because you do not have the other side of the fish there anymore, so the fish kind of drops down a bit, which just makes it a little trickier to work around. But as always, we cut in through that insertion point, cut through the spine, which is the only bones of the fish really when you're filleting, and I take that fillet completely off the frame of the fish. So all that we are left with is the frame and the head, and then you break the spine, keep the head to boil it up, as some of the best meat is inside the head. But yeah, just cut through that spinal part all the way down to the belly where you should have gutted your fish already. So we've got 2 big fillets off the fish, and now we're working on skinning those fillets. So you just make a little insertion at the tail end of the fillet, run your knife through gradually. Again, no rush, let the knife do the work, and before you get to the end of your fillet, you want to take out the spine bones that are at the top of the fish. So you just make a little V cut insertion right at the top on the middle, and you'll feel those spine bones. If you run your finger along, you'll feel where they are. That piece there has just got the bones in it. You can pick them out with a tweezers or some sort, but it's just faster and easier to cut it out, and you don't waste a lot of meat. So we're back to the tail end now, running that knife along the skin just gradually. You want to cut on a downwards angle, as well as when you're filleting the fish itself, you always want to cut on a downwards angle so you're getting every piece of meat possible. You're just running that knife along gradually until that fillet comes off. I actually cut this one in 2 because I don't have a very long knife, so I took 2 pieces off the fillet, which just made it easier to run my knife through it. We've done one side of the fish and we're over to the other side, again making that insertion point in the tail, cutting on a downwards angle along the skin, and I completely cut that fillet in half through the middle just to make it easier to do 2 sides. Running that knife along, letting the knife do the work until that piece has come off, and now we're on to the last quarter of the second fillet. Beautiful, beautiful big pieces of snapper. plenty of meat there, and we've also got the fish head and the frame to boil up. The head having some of the best meat in the entire fish. And that's how you fillet a big ass snapper.